Hello, welcome back to the Waffle Press TV blog hangouts. There's a whole bunch of names wrapped up right now. Getting that all sorted out, but fun stuff happening here. This is Let's Talk About Movies segment, where each month I, your host Dave Crespo, will invite people on to talk about a specific movie pertaining to a certain genre. In August, we use science fiction. In May, we talk action movies, and now we're talking favorite movies. Just any sort of movie people want to talk about in September, we'll talk about it here. It doesn't have to be a good movie, just be a movie that you enjoy watching. And with me today to discuss the first movie of September is Jack Godwin from AudienceEverywhere.net and many other places online. Jack, how you doing?
I'm doing absolutely great, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little sleepy. My hair's a little tasseled. But it's good. It's good. It's a good day. It is not 100 degrees in California. It's more like a solid 95. So this is good. It's a good day. It's a good day to talk about movies. So Jack, what movie you got for us today?
I got Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a pretty obvious choice for a lot of comic nerds like us, really.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty good movie. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, it's probably in at least contender for the best Marvel movie.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. I always said Winter Soldier. That was mine, and it was only I saw it again yesterday. It was a screening again, so I actually saw it in the cinema again, and I just clicked and I was like, "This is the best one."
Oh, that's interesting because I do think it ultimately comes down to Winter Soldier and Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, those two are the serious contenders. Iron Man 3 recently entered the race for me on a rewatch recently. And Age of Ultron, we both discussed it. I think we're more positive on it than others. And it's my favorite. But Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, is a more cohesive movie. And it's probably the most fun Marvel movie, too. But yeah, go ahead.
It might be the most fun movie ever.
It's just a
it's just yeah, it's got so much heart to it, and that's what I think keeps people coming back to it.
Yeah, I mean it's got the blockbuster spectacle we all love, but really it opens up with like a kind of punch to the heartstrings, and then that sort of levels out the emotional playing field for the rest of the movie. And it's a lot of really simple stuff in the movie, just it's executed really well by James Gunn. You know?
Yeah, it has this undercut of all the emotional stuff. There's this I can't remember where I read it. It might have been a review or something, or top films of the year. But Film Crit Hulk wrote a great little thing about it, and he was basically saying how he was talking about that one scene when they're all discussing about what they're going to do. They're all going to, go into this final battle and, trying to convince each other that it's the right thing to do. And each time something serious is said, it's undercut by a joke. And it's a beautiful way to do it because all these cliches are given to us and you get the heart of them. And then you get the funny joke. And then it goes back to the heart. And you have Groot eating a leaf off his shoulder, and then a few seconds later you got Rocket saying, "You're asking us to die." It's kind of like a whiplash effect, and it works so well.
Yeah, because a lot of times some movies don't really balance out the action with the comedy very well. Like you'll get the Amazing Spider-Man 2 situation where everything is funny and then it gets serious, but there's no reason for it to do so. It just does unintentionally.
Yeah.
And I think everyone knows how I feel about that movie in particular. But Guardians of the Galaxy does handle that really well because there are a lot of little tropes in there. Like when Star-Lord does the heroic sacrifice thing and tries to save, I wanted to say Uhura Gamora, right? Did I forget her name? It's Gamora, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, man. I haven't seen that movie in a while. And then it's like this sort of traditional male savior type thing. And then it turned into a funny moment where he's like, well, I don't have the orb, actually. So, the way they undercut that, it's really clever. So you get the familiar stuff, but it's not boring, I guess. And I know a lot of people have issues with Marvel villains. I don't really. Like, I think Malekith is actually the worst, even though he has an interesting design. But Ronan the Accuser, I think, is a solid villain for the first Guardians movie because of how tropey he is. Like, he's evil for the sake of evil. Like, he's a religious zealot, and he's almost comedic in how straight-laced he is. But it gets really funny when you pair him off against the Guardians because they're just a bunch of clowns, you know, with guns. And then he is like this stone-cold murderer, like genocidal maniac. And I think the culmination of that with the dance sequence at the end is one of the best things Marvel's done.
It's almost worth it for all his, like, literally, is it Lee Pace?
Lee Pace, yeah.
Yeah. He's literally got the smile, like the frowny face, you know, for the whole movie. It's comical, but it works because at the moment of absolute like seriousness, when he comes out on the surface of Xandar and people are crying and screaming at the sight of him, and he has this angry, just ridiculous frowny face, and then when Peter starts dancing and he says, "What are you doing?" It almost like it's a setup, like the entire movie's set up for that joke, just to see, like, here's this typical villain and here's how he would interact with someone ridiculous like Star-Lord.
Yeah, I really like that setup. It's simple, but it's so effective. You know, like, you don't need any crazy, absurd amount of plot twists. You don't need a reveal about a villain that no one has any attachment to. You just do good characters and good story. And I think if any character gets the short stick in terms of development, it's Gamora. But she's sort of the heart of the team, I think. Because
she still has some good moments, but she's on the low end.
Yeah,
but, I want to know more about her in the sequel. Really.
I really do too, because like it's like we caught her at the end of her arc in the movie, like where she turned good by the time everything started, so we don't get to see her arc. Like, you know, it's there, we just don't see it, and that's kind of a bummer. But I think even then she does have good moments and such, and she does essentially form the team, you know, like accidentally, albeit, but and then she helps, or she signifies the help that Peter and the rest of the team give them when they have the light show at the end from the power gem or whatever. And that's probably the highlight of the movie for me. What do you think is the ultimate highlight for Guardians of the Galaxy? Like, if you were to say, I mean, you do say this is the best Marvel movie, right? Is that what you were saying earlier? Yeah. What do you think? Which
just by a bit
best signifies that for you? Why it's the best?
Oh, there's so many great moments in it. It might be the scene of them all sat in a circle deciding whether to go through with it or not. That might be it. I'm not sure. It could be. There's so many moments you can choose, but I think like all of them would involve Rocket, because aside from Steve Rogers, he's probably my favorite character in the MCU. And I think it's like James Gunn has gone on to say like you know, it's his favorite character, it's the character he like connects to the most and he relates to. So I think you can feel that because he's given a lot of great stuff in here. And I think just little moments with him are the best that stick in my head. Like once the Collector's domain is like blown up and they come outside and Gamora's still holding the orb, and he goes, "What are you still holding that for?" And he's like clawing at his face. Like, it's so funny. Or even like when he's drunk and you see it's still funny because he's got no respect, but at the same time there's a sadness to it because you know he's been completely messed with. Like, he said, "I didn't ask to be, created to be pulled apart and put back together." There's a sadness to it, which like all these characters are like informed by. You get a sense of a life beyond the movie, which is what makes them feel so whole, really.
Yeah, I know people give Marvel a lot of flack for like the way some of their movies play out. Like all of Phase 2 pretty much ends with a giant battle in the sky, like every
Yeah.
movie except for Ant-Man. And
Mhm.
even Ant-Man does have a fight scene in the sky. But I think it's the characters that really work. When Marvel movies work, they work like Guardians of the Galaxy, and the characters are what really keep the audiences coming back. Like we like spending time with these guys, and yeah, they are quite sad underneath the humorous demeanor and such, and that's why the emotional moments work too. And yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy rocks.
They all call each other monsters, or like call each other monsters, call themselves monsters. That none of them are particularly happy with who they are, but they will find a way to, make something of themselves, which is really great.
Hmm. Yeah, agreed. Is there anything you want to add before we get into the quick fire questions round?
Oh, okay. No, I've just realized actually the best moment of the entire movie is in the Moody, like it's in the ruins at the start of the film. You got that very typical score. Then Peter puts the song on his Walkman, and then dances across the screen, and the title comes up. That is the best moment in the movie for me, because that's the moment when I realized I was watching something special.
Well, that is a good choice, and yeah, there are so many moments to choose from in this movie, but I think that's up there for me because that lets you know absolutely that this is something special, and it's going to be a very different sort of ride from your traditional big summer movie. And yeah, it rocks. Okay, quick questions round then. If you could replace any movie character with Star-Lord, not Han Solo, get creative, who would you replace it with? Or him with?
Wait, am I replacing Star-Lord?
Star-Lord, yeah. With another movie
Okay.
character. Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to. I don't know. I'd like to see someone grounded from the MCU in that place. I mean, that's what excites me. The idea of seeing these people maybe interacting in the future, of someone like coming into this group and seeing how ridiculous they are, like works really well. So, I mean, I guess like someone like Hawkeye would be great. Imagine like Hawkeye talking to Rocket. That would be amazing.
Well, I was saving this question for last, but yeah. So, are Marvel going to join the Guardians and the Avengers and Infinity Wars? What do you think on that?
I think they will. Maybe they might be actually necessary for like some exposition with Thanos and like the cosmic side of things. I feel like having the direct connection with them all, and then they'd have to be brought together. I have no idea how they're going to do it, but I mean, I had no idea how they were going to do Avengers. So who knows? I trust them, but like it's a lot to fit into even 2 movies.
Yeah, that's like if they're each 2.5 hours, and you got 5 hours of movie, but still, that's a lot to do. And then 2 more questions. What do you want to see in Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Sorry?
What do you want to see in Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Oh, I want more female characters, and Gunn has said that he wants to do that. But I think there's a lot of like interesting, weird characters that they could bring in. People like Moondragon, and they could bring in Adam Warlock. There's a lot of weird stuff they can explore, and I feel like they have the guts to do that kind of thing. So I'd love to see the roster expand a bit, but also like focusing on characters, getting a bit more backstory.
All right, and then last question. You could pick any other fictional character in cinematic history to be revealed as Star-Lord's father. Who is it?
Well, I can't say Han Solo, can I?
No.
I can't get Han Solo out of my head. Why did I say that?
Han Solo would be a fun choice, but yeah.
Well, I think it would be more interesting to have the whole, going back to Star Wars again, having the whole Luke Darth Vader thing. You'd want someone completely opposite to him. You'd want someone evil, someone powerful and not fun like him. You'd want someone like Ronan. So like, you'd want a typical villain in that way. Tell you what, I don't know why this is coming to my head, but Gary Oldman's character from Leon, or The Professional, I think you call it in the US.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's one of the other movies I just talked about on the Fifth Element.
Oh, really?
But yes, that is an awesome choice. I never would have picked that one.
I don't know why that came to me.
Because Gary Oldman's awesome, and he should be in every movie.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. Well, that was fun. Thank you for joining me, Jack. Where can people find you on the internet?
Well, I write for Audiences Everywhere, so you can find me there, audienceseverywhere.net, and also write for the Cinemachina, cinemachina.com. I'm also on Twitter. My handle is at JG_TIJEAN. That's about it. Oh, I've got a WordPress, which is jackalexandergodwin.wordpress.com.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me, man. As always, you can find everything here on the Waffle Press YouTube, Twitter links down below. You can find me on Twitter at DagoWaffles. I too write for audienceseverywhere.net, and lots of other stuff that's happening soon. So keep a lookout for that. Thank you so much for joining me one more time. I've been your host, David Crespo. This has been the Waffle Press Podcast. We've been professionally unprofessional.